Yo! In this video, I'm going to talk about a game that a few of you probably heard about or even played it. We are going to talk about Yume Nikki. Yume Nikki is a Japanese game created with RPG Maker, released in 2004 by KIKIYAMA, a very discreet person, but I'm going to talk about him later. In Yume Nikki, we play as a little girl called Madotsuki. Madotsuki. The main objective of Yume Nikki is to explore the strange dreams of Madotsuki. Oh yeah, by the way, this video and this game contains references to suicide, accidents, and violence. So, if you are sensible to subject like those, see if you want to continue or not, and it will start to spoil. I highly advise you to play Yume Nikki by yourself. The game is free, and it's really good. If you want my more in-depth thoughts on the game without any spoiler, go to this time code. But if you don't have any problems with spoilers, let me tell you about Yume Nikki. So, to start off, we have a little tutorial that explains that you have to sleep in the bed to enter the dream world, write in the dream diary to save, and for the rest, too lazy to read, we can just access back to the tutorial from the menu. Right when we start, we find ourselves in a bedroom. There's a door to exit, but Madotsuki refuses to exit. Alright, sure, I guess. There's also a game console with a mini-game, a TV that shows a buggy screen if we light it up, and a balcony that we can access. Okay, stop. A little detail that interested me. Those two little shoes right here. In Japan, when we enter a house, people have to take off their shoes and put them at the entrance out of politeness. And a person that's about to commit suicide will take off his shoes and place his shoes the same way, near where he is about to commit the act, to signify that they will enter heaven. And since we're on a balcony, but let's come back to this detail later. In the dream world, we arrive on the balcony that gives to the bedroom. When we interact with the TV, it's now an eye that appears, but now, most importantly, we can exit the bedroom. When exiting the bedroom, we arrive in the Nexus, a place where there are multiple doors, leading to 12 worlds. These are the 12 main worlds. Those worlds themselves lead to other worlds, and so on. Let's open a door, and we find ourselves in a place with funny-looking faces on the walls. Alright? Further, tons of weird numbers on the ground. This guy. When exploring a bit more, we end up on another door. And, oh shit, the fuck are these? Okay, these things. The Toriningans, they're called. There are two versions, normal ones and lunatics. Lunatics chase you, and when they touch you, you're sent into some sort of dead end in a random world where we have to wake up to exit. It's pretty much the game over of the game. But let's come back to my situation. There's an infestation of lunatics. By running a bit, we end up on a guillotine. And if we interact with it, we gain an effect. Something I didn't explain from the tutorial at the start is that in Yume Nikki there are effects, sort of small power-ups. There is a total of 24. And you have to collect them all to complete the game. They are scattered and hidden in most worlds, and right now, the effect allows me to transform myself into a severed head. Nice. Yeah, just that. All effects ain't necessarily useful. I let myself get caught by the bad Toriningans and... yeah, no way out. I have to wake up. To wake up, you have to pinch your cheek. Let's try again and explore other worlds. Another detail that caught my eye. All those depictions of indigenous characters. Some seem to show acts of sacrifice and violence, or just little secrets, like the Aztec rave monkey that appears on the screen when interacting with this stone in this world. I will talk later about what could those mean. Yeah, I know we will talk about a lot of things later, towards the end. Let's sum up the main worlds. There is the number world, that links to the guillotine world, the neon world, the shield folk world, the candle world, the eyeball world, the graffiti world, the snow world, the mural world, the dark world, the puddle world, the forest world, and the block world. It's also the world where I got my second effect, hat and scarf. Unlike the other effect, this one has a slight utility. We can transform into a snowman. Only when it snows, though. Let's go to the graffiti world. Let's look around a bit and... the mall. And a new effect has been obtained, the flute. I'm not going to talk about all the effects because then it would be boring. I'm just going to talk about a few intermediate worlds and a few effects that are either important or that I liked. The other, more important worlds, I'm going to talk later about them. Yes, once again, later I know. But let's continue diving into Madotsuki's dreams. In the graffiti's world, by going right from the entrance door for some time, we end up on the bicycle, which is the best effect in the game. It doubles the player's speed and makes exploration so much more easy. In the forest world, by taking a sort of portal thing, and by going through the face carpet plaza, dodging the lunatic Toraningen, and by touching the weird spinning mass of geometric forms, we arrive in the world of hell. It might sound a bit scary like that, but actually it's one of the best worlds, because it's kind of like a second nexus that leads to a lot of worlds that we will talk about not later, but now for once. Oh, and yeah, there is one lunatic Toraningen here, so be careful. The dense woods world, a world that's broken into 3 pieces, which I will talk about only 2 of them. To access one of them, you gotta take a specific path. Going through the puddle world, we can find this entrance that goes to the first piece of the dense woods. In this piece, there is a road that if we explore to the left, repeats endlessly. But if we go right, it goes to the infinite road. And if we go to the right, it repeats endlessly once again. But if we change directions again and go to the left, we end up on a small road that leads to a corpse, dead from what seems to be an accident. By interacting with it, we can gain the stoplight effect, which allows, by using it, to stop all movements. It's useful against lunatic Toraningens, for example. By going through hell, we can end up in the second piece of the dense woods. And I will use this moment to say that the game is really good. I was skeptical at the start, but afterwards I really started enjoying Yume Nikki. It's very calm and relaxing for most of the game, and it has some insane music that reflect well the surrealism of these worlds. And it's a feeling that KIKIYAMA illustrates very well. He even admitted in a small Q&A that Yume Nikki is not a horror game, but instead a warm-hearted game. A lot of people think and does video that says that Yume Nikki is dark horror and twisted, but no. They just didn't understand the game. Don't go harass them, of course. Here we are. By interacting with this train car and by traveling in it, we end up on the Witch's Island world, which contains the witch effect. This effect transforms Madotsuki in a witch, allowing her to levitate. By going through the face carpet plaza world, we can end up in the static maze world, a maze with invisible walls. Once completed, with probably like 4 concussions from having a skill issue and knocking your head on all the walls, we arrive at the FC House world. FC Worlds is a series of worlds that look like they're from video games. If we explore the FC House, going through the basement with this music that's very we end up on a room where we can obtain the Oni effect that transforms you into a Oni, which is a traditional Japanese demon. In the dark world, we can find the knife effect. It offers a lot of interactions with the creatures in the game, but I'm not going to talk about them in this video. By going through the eyeball world and interacting with Metamod, a sort of hand with an eye, we can obtain its effect, which allows to come back to the Nexus from anywhere, even from the Toraningen's dead end. From the dense woods, We can enter in the teleport maze world, where we have teleport from block to block to escape. The docks world, a world accessible from hell that is just very calm and chill. That's it really. And to finish, I'm going to talk about Uboa, one of the most well-known secrets of Yume Nikki. Let's go through the snow world until an igloo where we can find a sort of pink water puddle inside. Let's interact with it. We are transported into the pink sea world. By exploring a bit, we can end up on Ponako's house. Ponako is her right here. She is one of the most popular characters in Yume Nikki, and among the only with appearance of a little girl, like Madotsuki. We can turn off the light, and by exiting, entering and turning off the lights a lot of times in a row. Uboa. When we interact with him, we end up on another dead end. Now that we have explored pretty much everything, let's do the end of Yume Nikki. 3 last effect to discover. The long hair and blonde hair in the mural world. And the poop hair. Yeah, I'm serious. By sleeping in one of the bed in the dream world, we have a little chance to end up in the staircase of hands. By going down a bit, we arrive in the underground world, a sort of laboratory or research facility, and by interacting with this poop monster, we have the last effect. Let's go to the Nexus, let's put down each effects and... I forgot one. By going through the world of the rooftop, which is very pretty, we can end up in the ghost world, where we have to catch a ghost that gives us the ghost bandana effect, making us invisible to other creatures. Okay, finally, let's put down the last effect. And by the way, if we exit and go back to the Nexus, all the effects are placed nicely in a cool pattern. Let's wake up. Let's go to the balcony, and a staircase leading to nothing appeared. Now let's interact with it. Well, this ending was just mad shit, not gonna lie. I mean, it's my opinion, but really, I farmed multiple hours late at night for the last few effects on Yume Nikki to finish the game, and the end sequence doesn't even last more than 10 seconds. It's just an end screen with creatures from her dreams to say that she isn't really dead, all that was just a dream. To tell you, I was so pissed off that when I went to sleep right after, even in my dream I was pissed off, and I didn't even know why. Yes, in my dream it's a funny coincidence, I know. The thing is, I noticed it from the very start. Remember me talking about them 2 little shoes placed there? Well, yeah, it was just a foreshadowing of the end. And there is more actually that I'm going to talk about soon. Since this wasn't the ending that I wanted of Yume Nikki, I went in the game one last time. By going through the staircase of hands in the underground world, we can reach the spaceship. By sleeping on the bed, we have a little chance for the spaceship to crash down on Mars. Now, we can go on Mars. By going up a pyramid, we end up on a small hole. By using the midget effect, which we get from doing an RKO to a midget in the candle world, we can go through it. Leading to Mars-san. Not very much else, just a slightly better end to my journey on Yume Nikki. Alright, let's talk about the details and my theory that would explain everything happening in Yume Nikki, even though I kinda said it a bit before. Firstly, Madotsuki never opens her eyes in the dream world, as in the quotation mark real world, does show that she never was really awake. Then, there are the references to accidents. Those can be the blood puddles, or the corpse in the dense woods world. Some think that Madotsuki would be related to those accidents, like if she was in a coma because of one, or just that, a relative to her experienced one, and she is doing her grief. But I don't think that's it. There are indigenous depictions of sacrifice and violence which we talked about at the start of the video. Themes of anxiety where some creatures stare at Madotsuki, or just the Toriningans, or even Uboa. And way more fears like those. Another detail that I missed that foreshadows the end of Yume Nikki is the Falling Man event. On the staircase leading to the rooftop, there is 1 chance out of 4 that we can see a man falling from the sky indefinitely. There can even be many falling at the same time, with all those blood puddles that are the same as in the end screen, the shoes placed there. It really looks like Madotsuki jumped many times. It would be other Madotsukis falling, other Madotsukis that made those blood puddles, and another Madotsuki that placed her shoes before jumping. I think that Madotsuki does all these dreams as a form of therapy against her fears. She completes the game multiple times to bit by bit make peace with her fears. This is my theory on Yume Nikki. But let's talk about something else. First, I know that I didn't talk about everything in Yume Nikki, because I just don't have the time, or sometimes I just didn't even meet them when I first played. But to start, there is the White Desert world, which is a world with many events, like the Takofusen, or in English, the octopus balloon, which has a chance on 3600 to happen. There is also Monaco, a little girl that if we use the stoplight effect on, she starts to dance, we could say. Oh yeah, and another event that can happen. When entering the mall world, there is a chance for the traffic cone that blocks the second escalator to be gone. When that happens, we can get up the roof, and if we use the witch effect, it's very cool to have little events like these. They really bring a touch of life to the game in a way. But what happened to Yume Nikki, and what was its impact on the internet? Well, first, there was a sort of event called Project Yume Nikki, which was like a sort of collaboration that was approved and supervised by KIKIYAMA. That allowed the creation of a Yume Nikki manga, which from what I've understood, isn't too canon to the story of Yume Nikki, but still somewhat canon. It's about other characters other than Madotsuki, like Ponako and Masada, the pilot of the spaceship to Mars. And the other big thing of Project Yume Nikki was Yume Nikki, Dream Diary, which is a remake of Yume Nikki, but in 3D. Actually, it's not really a remake but more of a reimagination of the original game. It is much more linear, and with also now puzzles unlike the classic Yume Nikki. This one has a price, however, which is in the $20. Also, a little detail that I find funny is that Yume Nikki in Japanese means Dream Diary. So like if a Japanese person reads the title of the game, they would read Dream Diary. Dream Diary, and I find that kind of funny. There is also merch and a light novel, but I'm not really going to talk about them. And else from that, there isn't much that KIKIYAMA did that we know about. I'm also going to talk about the fact that Yume Nikki had an enormous impact on the internet. There is a big community, multiple fan games. One of them we will talk about a bit later. It inspired a lot of horror content, or just content in general. Let's also talk about the OSTs of Yume Nikki that are everywhere. They are memorable and just amazing. The background musics in this video are from Yume Nikki. But let's talk about the biggest fan game of Yume Nikki. Yume Nikki is the fan-made sequel of Yume Nikki. Yume Nikki is way bigger than Yume Nikki and even stranger and better in quality, with even better OSTs. The game is not finished from what I understood. I haven't already played it, but I think I'm going to because it looks awesome. Oh yeah, and another detail that I found a bit funny is that in Yume Nikki, where there is the 2 in Yume Nikki, is also where there is the ni of Yume Nikki, and in Japanese 2 is pronounced ni. So I think it's intended, but for once that I can use the bit of Japanese I know. So, to end it, Yume Nikki is a really good game. It's very calm and relaxing, exploration into surrealistic worlds, which contains strange little details, and additionally, the game is free. Though, if you want to finish the game, don't force yourself. If you have something else to do that's more important, do it. The game really isn't about its ending, and if you're stuck, don't hesitate searching for an answer on internet. Don't forget to like, sub. Thanks for watching. See y'all next time.